Welcome to Globe Arts. I'm Zoe and this is Jackie.
We really hope you enjoy our how-to tutorials.
Hi, I'm Jackie from Globe Arts and I'm going to show you how to make a clay tea light decoration for this Christmas. We've got a takeaway kit, and in your kit you will find a bowl of clay, a clay cloth, some templates, a rolling pin to roll out your clay with, and some clay guides. You'll find a plastic cone, some clay slip, a variety of clay modelling tools, a star punch, very important for making our cut-out shapes, and a tea light. So the first thing you're going to need to do is to roll out your ball of clay. So first of all, just give it a little knead so that you can get it into a decent shape. And then if you put your ball of clay in the centre of your cloth and just press down a little so that you've got a slightly flatter surface to begin working with. You'll then need your rolling pin and your clay guides. Now the aim is to roll out a piece of clay which will easily fit your template. So you kind of want a long, narrow shape, a rectangular shape. So to do that, we start in the centre of the clay, push down firmly, roll forwards and roll back. Try not to go off the ends of the clay. Turn the clay over and turn it round. This is important so that you're stretching both sides of the clay, both the front and the back, evenly. Because I'm now going for that rectangular shape, I didn't turn my clay around, but I am rolling back and forth. And eventually, if you find that your clay is sticking to your cloth, you can use your cloth as a way of passing it onto your hand. That is a much better technique than trying to peel up the clay and stretching it out of shape. These clay guides are going to help me to get the clay to a reasonable thickness, and you can see that they're now rolling, the rolling pin is rolling directly on the clay guides. So that's as flat as it can go with those guides there. I can do a quick check on my template. I know that this is too narrow, but it's roughly the right length. So at this stage, I remove my clay guides. I turn my clay over, but I'm going to turn it around this time so that I can actually stretch the clay this way to get that width. And I'm trying to keep my clay evenly rolled, so I'm definitely not going over the ends and flattening the clay on its edge. And at this point I can take one of my clay tools. One with a sharpish point is pretty good because you want a nice neat edge to this, and you're literally just drawing round, cutting out this shape. Now the easiest way to reveal your template of clay is to remove the edges, but don't screw them up into a ball. You know, keep them as flat pieces because you may use them later. Okay, so the next stage is that we're going to stamp out some little stars using the punch, and it's quite important that you keep the little stars that are punched out, so you're going to need both. Okay, so I'm just going to go in a series of stripes, but you can do any pattern that you like. You need a good space between each one. These are going to be the holes that let the light through. So you punch down until you can feel the surface, and then you will have to just support the clay a little as you remove the punch, and then push the plunger to reveal the star and put that to one side. And then off you go again until you've got all of your pattern done. Okay, so you'll need for this section your template and your cone, and you're going to fix the template around the cone. There is a little bit of overlap, just try and nudge that into place so it's a nice fit, and then using a little bit of tape to just secure it in place. Sellotape is fine for this. Okay, and then the next job is the trickiest, but you're going to place the cone gently on top of the clay and begin to roll the clay onto the cone. Now it may be a little sticky on the mat that you've got, so you have to tease it gently onto the cone until you've got it rolling. And you're trying to keep it even. And then as you reach near to the scored edge, you actually need to just score this near edge a little bit to again allow that slip to grab on, because this is now the underside. This was the back of the clay. So you want that to meet, and then when you've got that, you turn it over and you're simply trying to adjoin the two parts with a little bit of pressure, not too much. You don't want to distort the shape of your cone. You've obviously got a seam here, so the next stage is to smooth that seam together. So for this you'll need one of the flatter tools, and it's a gentle motion. You're just bringing this top edge of clay across. I've noticed my cone is a little uneven here, so that's a good opportunity to just nip that off a little bit. Oops. And then it's a case of just smoothing across, trying not to distort or disturb the stars too much. So one of the key things when you're working with clay is to not overhandle it. It's really tempting to, keep handling it with your hands, but remember that your hands are warm, and the warmth from your hands is drawing all the moisture out of the clay, and then it becomes unpliable and you get hairline cracks and it just becomes really difficult to manage. So it is a case of touching it as little as possible. So I'm quite happy with that. I've lost the shape of this star a little, so I'm just going to use my tool to manipulate it a little. That'll do. You're going to need to score an area just a little bit, and then you can add a little bit of slip to the back of a star. Not too much, because what you don't want is for that slip to kind of squelch out and leave an ugly mess. But that's created a nice grab, and I'll do that for all of these gaps here. So the cone underneath is just taking the pressure as I press down a little bit. I'm not forcing with a great pressure, just enough for it to get that grab. So I'll carry on with that, and I'll meet you back here in a moment. Right, so we now have all of our add-on stars to the surface of our cone shape, and we can now take the cone out of this, the plastic cone, but we're leaving the paper template in. So you just gently handle that until you've removed the cone and place that to one side. Okay. Now we do have some spare clay, and what we're going to do with this spare clay is create a base using our circular template, and this is so that we can place the tea light on a base and then our sculpture over the surface, and obviously all the light will shine through the little holes. So we can just go back to using our clay tool, which has a sharp edge, and just gently trim round. And that gives you your base for your tea light candle. Okay, so there are some other options with your clay. In your kit you'll have enough clay to actually make an angel if you wish, or you can just make a smaller version of this. If you decide to do that, you get a smaller template and you simply apply that onto the top part of the cone and secure it with your tape, and go through the process again. So you would roll out your clay, stamp out your stars and apply it in exactly the same way so that you've got the cone part. And then using the spare clay, you can apply some wings to the back, again just using the slip and the scoring method to apply this. Notice on the top here we've got a coil of clay and then a small ball of clay for the head. This needs to be a removable head because you need the heat from the candle to be able to escape. So you need a small gap under there, and when you need to blow out your candle after it's finished, you can blow over the top there. So these little bits are all made from the spare remains, if you like, of what's left over. If you are concerned about a coil, then a coil is really just a long strip of clay which you can roll out from a sausage shape, or if you've got a piece like this that's quite flattened, you can manipulate it into a ribbon and then literally just curve it around like a snake. So you can coil it like so, and that can fit on the top. You would score on the rim here and slip to fix that on, but the head would remain loose. So I really hope you've enjoyed creating your beautiful clay tea light decoration, and I'm hoping that you do end up with a little angel and a tree, and that you enjoy lighting it up for that lovely cosy Christmas feel. Thank you for watching.